Hello guys, welcome back to BoreDraw. We're continuing our 23-24 season previews today, and today's agenda is pulling up Liverpool, Klopp's army.
And you'll never...
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Liverpool, and we'll kick it off by talking about how they got on last season.
How did they do last season, Luke? Tell me.
Last season was a strange one for fans of Liverpool Football Club. They came into the season with pretty high expectations after like a fairly decent season beforehand. And it just felt like there was a massive rebuild needing to happen. We talked about Man City last season and a massive process of rebuilding, but Liverpool arguably going for a bigger rebuild, losing the likes of Sadio Mane, which is like one of the staples for them over the last 5-6 years. And yeah, they bought in Luis Diaz the season before, I think in the January transfer window. He obviously was injured for like a lot of last season. They bought in Darwin Nunez, who was memed for his ability to score goals, but I think we were both fairly big fans of him.
I think he's going to cook this season.
I think he's going to cook this season as well. And yeah, they bought in Cody Gakpo in January after a very good World Cup and a very good season in the Netherlands. But it fell apart for me defensively.
Yeah.
Is where the midfield and the whole back line really, really struggled. We saw Trent only really regain any reminiscence of his former self at the end of last season, where he was moved into this sort of hybrid right-back CDM role where he could play with a little bit less defensive responsibility and a little bit more creative freedom. They've moved this summer in a way which I semi-expected. It's a completely different approach to how they were playing before, but with sort of throwbacks in there. When we'll talk about that when we get onto the transfer activity. But yeah, for me, last season, the issues came with the centre-backs not knowing who the best pairing was. Was it Matip and Van Dijk? Was it Konate Van Dijk? Was it Gomez Van Dijk? And they just, anytime they were out of possession, they had no idea where to be. And it was a lack of basic fundamentals which cost them in game after game after game.
Yeah, and it's a combo the fact that all those defensive units that you're saying, all of them were someone and Van Dijk. And when Van Dijk is also having a stinker of a season, when your rock, your main guy that never drops stinkers, is dropping pretty much half a season of stinkers, you're automatically fucked, really, because how do you build a solid defence when you've got Trent dropping his worst season since he broke onto the scene? You've got Robbo dropping off a cliff. You've got Van Dijk, who has lost all kind of stature and big manness. Yeah. And then you've got two people next to him. You can't decide who you want to play.
And then in front of him, you've got Fabinho, who had his worst season in a Liverpool shirt. You've got Jordan Henderson, who I saw a very interesting Twitter thread about, who basically the person, I think it's like Premier League Panel is their name. And I think they were saying how Liverpool have been hindered by having Jordan Henderson for the last few seasons because he was never technically good enough to be a Liverpool player, which I semi-agree with. But I think he brought a lot to that team. He's a leader, isn't he?
Yeah, he's legs and leadership.
You know what I mean? So, and he probably was very useful for having someone like Trent coming in, where he could drop back and cover for him. That was almost like one of their play styles, was having Henderson in on a right-hand sort of like DM role where he could allow Trent to push up the pitch. And that's what they failed to do last season, which cost them a lot. Without Alisson in goal, they would have been in the bottom half. Yeah, they're lucky they have the best keeper in the league. Yeah, effectively.
The season turned up a notch when they hit the January window. They got Gakpo in, and Klopp changed the system. I think that's where they became a bit more confident. They relied a bit more on their attacking rather than their defending. And then we saw a bit more of a sturdy Liverpool. I think they went like the end of the season, like 10 wins on the trot or whatever. So,
and we would see them do like they had these like outrageous games where they smash Bournemouth, they smash Rangers, they smash Man United, and then the next game they'd go and just be so flat.
1-0 to Forest or something, yeah.
Just so flat. And Liverpool of the past, their best asset was their ability to transition from like the goalkeeper or defender having the ball, and they would literally be in the opposition's box within one pass or two passes. And it wasn't counter attack in the sense, but they could pull teams apart so easily without having to actually think about it. And they had weapons across the pitch. They had Van Dijk, who could play a ball that just split defenses apart, or he could run up through the middle of the pitch. They had Robertson and Trent, who I think were their best assets,
dropping assists out the wazoo. Mate.
crazy numbers. And we're doing it without a target man, which they do have now. Everyone thought Trent and Nunes would have been the combo, and it might still be. And then you had the likes of Mohamed Salah just doing what he does, dropping numbers every season. Outrageous. Premier League great. It just didn't work. Didn't work last season. The midfield stank it up. You can't have a midfield of Fabinho and then maybe have like Henderson or Milner or Thiago or Keita or Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones. Yeah. It reeks. It freaks. It's not good. They've done all right this summer. And we'll talk about that now.
So, incomings. Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister are the two high-profile early transfers that Liverpool made. Two attacking midfielders.
For me, I like it.
100 million between them. I think it's ambitious, is what it is. You've signed two of very high-profile midfielders in terms of... Not high-profile in terms of currently at their peak, but two players that are good right now at kind of
I say they're known quantities,
but have the kind of ability to take it up a notch.
Yeah, and I think that Liverpool's midfield has never really been their star asset. They haven't had like a Kevin De Bruyne in the middle. They haven't had an Odegaard or a Bruno Fernandes in the middle. You know what I mean? They've always their assets have been defensive solidity, crazy attacking power. The midfield would just be there to sort of fill in the gaps, cut channels. I like this a lot. I think
you're a big fan of this, aren't you?
Yeah, Szoboszlai has one of the best ranges of passing in the entire world of football. In the footballing world. Yeah. I think he's incredible. I think he's technically as proficient as they come. And I think he played a lot of this season out wide on the right for Leipzig. But I think he's going to look even better when he's in the middle of the park. Yeah. He can play that more technical one-touch, two-touch football. He's going to open it up, and he's going to find Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, Salah bombing on
Diaz.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be really dangerous. McAllister, you've got a man here whose legs, and he's got goal contributions.
Yeah, he's one of those players. I don't know if he offers enough of anything in particular, but what he does is offer a very good, consistent level of just everything, and I think that's something that they need, especially with Jordan Henderson probably fucking off to Saudi Arabia. I think someone that does what Jordan Henderson does, but at a higher level, is a good move, and I think that's what McAllister will do.
But yeah, no, I'm a massive fan of this. For me, they need a DM.
They need 100%. More depth, because as much as we've talked about them getting midfielders in,
they've lost more than
they've lost midfielders. They needed midfielders in last season when they didn't lose any. They've lost more. Yeah, they've got a couple in, but they're still probably at the same spot in terms of numbers.
Yeah, so
because you're losing James Milner.
You're losing
there.
No. So yeah, Milner,
Keita's gone.
Chamberlain.
So Fabio Carvalho, you've probably lost more in terms of.
And they never had a good enough midfield to be able to afford to lose players.
So they need, and I know they're talking about links to Lavia. I know we were talking about maybe João Palhinha.
Maybe Caicedo. And there is links to a DM. They definitely need a DM. I think Fabinho can't have as bad a season as he did last season. No, and I think
he'll get back to a level.
I think, yeah, but I don't think his peak, he's going to be coming close to what his peak was. When he was the best DM in the league.
Need to think of a Fabinho replacement, because he is on his way out.
I don't know if Lavia
he'll probably end up at Saudi
next
season. So
he's linked to Saudi this season, but apparently his dogs
can't get there because they're Frenchies. Yeah.
So but if they lose Fabinho and Henderson, they've got a midfield of McAllister, Szoboszlai,
and then no DMs.
I think Bajetic is going out on loan.
They've got no DMs.
Like what?
He's got Trent there on his own.
What's going?
They would get fucked. fucked.
Mate,
Yeah, so they need to go big for a DM.
they need to move proficiently. They've done well so far, in my opinion. Anyway, I think going forward, they've got enough there to work with. I think
100%.
I think Nunez, he'll come good. I think Salah, you get another few seasons out of him anyway.
You've
I think
got
just that level.
Diaz, who pretty much missed last season, so that's like a new.
I think
fresh
Diaz
player.
because he played the last few games.
Still
didn't
got Jota.
and I think he was good. Yeah, Jota, he was.
Gakpo.
Jota's on his way out. I think this is like a.
Oh, he's still young. He's only like 25.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was older than that.
Nah, I think he's young.
But yeah, I thought maybe just because he's got like a terrible like hairstyle.
Can't
Oh,
say
no,
that.
that's the
wrong
one.
Jota. 26. Yeah.
What?
He's a young boy. He only signed for Liverpool when he was young.
All right.
But
yeah.
so he's still about. So I think, like you said, in attacking front, I think they're fine. They need to focus a lot on that defensive unit, as in like a DM, and then maybe a Van Dijk, not replacement, because Van Dijk probably still got a season or two in him.
But just someone
But
for the future.
They were linked to Levi Colwell. I think he is the ideal signing for them, because he is kind of Van Dijk's essence personified in a younger player.
Yeah, agreed.
But obviously Chelsea aren't going to let him go, because that's like a £80 million centre back right there.
Oh, 100%.
And
Yeah.
they need him. So
With Fofana being
But-
injured.
they need to look out for someone to partner Konate in the long
Yeah.
run.
I mean, if Liverpool come out of this window with one more player, it has to be a DM. But like you say, they've spent nearly, 100 million
yeah.
on
And
two
got
midfielders.
no outgoing money. All three transfers
Yeah,
that they're losing.
exactly. They've lost Firmino on a free. They're going to.
So-
Are they going to get P for Henderson?
Is it a case of...
I think they're going to get some money for Henderson, but I don't know if it's enough. But
I can't imagine it'll be anything. I think, is it a case of maybe they ship like Jota on then? for,
what?
like,
Yeah, that's
40
what I
mil?
think. Like, how many forwards do you need?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, for me, it's got to be a DM.
Yeah.
I think Paulinho could be a really good shout. For me, I'd say throw money, 80 million, Caicedo.
Yeah.
That's what I'd go for. I think Lavia
They
for like
don't
50
have
million
value,
is
yeah.
like, I think you can find better value elsewhere.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you even just go like, you get Caicedo in and then you just get someone like Ndidi and just go for like cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's another 100 mil. Liverpool about that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't actually know the funds behind Liverpool.
Yeah, it's
But
confusing, isn't it?
For the be all end all is need a DM.
Get a DM.
Get a
in.
DM.
Yeah, get a DM big time.
Let's talk about how to go line up next season. It's going to be very similar to how they ended the season, isn't it?
It is, but with an upgrade in areas. They're going to play that kind of 3 at the back, 4 at the back system where
Starts as a 4-3-3.
and then Trent is allowed to push forward and then everyone kind of shifts round to accommodate him. And I think, in goal, you got Alisson, you got a back 3 or 4 of Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, and then Trent playing right back.
That
DM,
hybrid role, yeah.
alongside Fabinho. And then you've got that box midfield of Trent, Fabinho in front of them. You,
Szoboszlai on
you
the right.
had Hendo, you had Gakpo and Curtis Jones. And now you're playing Szoboszlai and McAllister. And you probably move Gakpo forward
Through the middle.
through the middle.
But I think in preseason, Nunez has played every game.
And I think I'd play Nunez there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'd rotate Gakpo with either McAllister or Szoboszlai.
I agree with you 100% there. So yeah, Arnold on the right hand side of the DM role, Fabinho on the left, and then you've got Szoboszlai on the right, which is his preferred sort of position. And then you've got McAllister on the left, and then up front, you've got Nunez with Diaz and Salah on the right. And it's for me, that's
Nice.
might be a top 2 team.
It's a good team. But like we've said, reeks in terms of depth. You've got no depth for the centre-backs, really. You got no depth right back or left back, really. Got no DM depth. You've got okay depth in terms of Szoboszlai, Gakpo, McAllister, and Curtis Jones can all rotate into each other. And winger depth is fine. Harvey Elliott can play instead of Salah, Diaz, and Jota.
The forward role,
Gakpo.
they've got loads of
But
depth.
defensively, no depth there whatsoever.
Yeah, so you got Van Dijk, Konate. Yeah,
Then you've got Matip, who is all right.
I like Matip.
Joe
but I think
Gomez,
he's
who's
pushing
fallen
on.
off a cliff.
Yeah,
Fullbacks, you've got Robertson and Simicas, is all
it's
right.
not too bad.
And then right back, you've actually got no one.
Who's the Scottish geezer?
He's gone on loan.
Oh, he's gone on loan, isn't he?
He's gone
I
on
guess
loan
you can have
to
Gomez.
Preston. So
Oh, has he?
yeah, so
Oh.
yeah, I'd like some defensive reinforcements at Liverpool, but obviously, how much money can that be? New defenders, new DM. But I think it's okay. I think Liverpool in this new system have recruited smart. They've recruited early. You
Still
got to
think-
hope
I
that
think it's a top
defensive
4 team.
unit holds up.
I think it's a top 4 team, especially if they get a DM in.
Mate, if they get an injury to Van Dijk, though, or an injury to Fabinho,
Still,
Could be
for me,
L's.
there's few teams in the Premier League with that sort of firepower.
The firepower is crazy.
And they've also got the second best manager in the league.
Didn't know Mikel Arteta managed Liverpool.
What a waffler. Guys, let
Shout
us
out.
know.
Yeah.
Let us know down below what you think of Liverpool's transfer window so far. Who would you bring in? If they're going to bring in one more player, would you make it a DM? Would you make it someone to, take over Fabinho's ailing abilities? Let us know down below. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be hitting you up with Premier League previews all the way to the beginning of the season. And once the season kicks off, the content doesn't stop. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. It's been BoreDraw, and it's live.
Come on.